Okay, so we live from the RAEL organization this evening here in Worcester, South Africa, and we've been reaching a lot of people and getting some good responses and things like that. So, sorry, the light is just shining a bit bright here in my face, and there we go. That's a bit better. All right. So, RAEL Live Recovery Stories. That's where we've all been meeting up in the evenings. How's it, Darren Hansen? Yes, bro. It's weird. Your name came up here the other night by people that know people, and you know how O's talk. And your name was one of the names that that came up. And yeah, bro. I hope all is well on your side and all of that. Lekker, Andrew Brown, one of the oaks that got sober here, that's doing well. Clutchy, lekker success story. Lohandre Lucas is clutchy. If anybody wants to know, because we used to tease him, or there was always, a bit of banter amongst the guys and things like that. And Clutchy got his nickname as Clutchy because when this oak used to have a bit of a tantrum or not get his way or want to do things a different way to what he was being told or whatever, then we used to tell him, hey, like, your clutch is slipping. But I believe he's came to RAEL, he's replaced his clutch, and the clutch isn't slipping anymore. Beautiful. Lekker to check Oaks in Recovery, cupping on. And we're proving the world wrong at the moment because according to statistics, 1% of people that go into recovery end up staying sober. And I can see just by the names that pop up here in the evenings, there's a lot more than 1% that has come through these doors. Sober. How's it, Gladwin, my brother? You're going to be eating a year soon. Then for the first time in your life, you would have been sober on each and every day of the calendar consecutively. That's beautiful. Lekker. How's it? Good evening, Mom. Lekker, Mr. Hall. That's nice to see the big boss is calling me the boss. Good evening, Sharon, Teresa, Claire. Hey, lekker. Yesterday evening my comments weren't working. It was just showing me the names of people that's watching. How's it, Ora? I still haven't met up with you in person. Good evening, Claire, again. Klekker. Craig also knows that when I done drugs, I done a lot of them. And I was destined to die. But then, thank God that he intervened and I got involved with RAEL and had the gift of desperation to receive the message that he has to carry. And like I said, with your guys' help, our message of hope travels far and wide. I know this because of the inboxes and things that we get, and because of the other recovery pages and stuff like that we're in communication. One thing that I know you're not meant to touch your nose. One thing that I've always sort of questioned or disliked or whatever, instead of organizations or people with the same goal fighting or tearing each other down, maybe more people could be helped. Like we've got our friends with other organizations and things like that believe in the same ways and morals and things like that. Most of them are also obviously taught by Mr. Hall. And these organizations should stand together instead of fight each other, But I also believe that we should tell the truth about different organizations. And yeah, I had a conversation with a lady today that hey, you can hear so badly in her voice that she's so tired. Her husband's ill and things like that, as well. And her son is and I said, for sure, ma'am, you can. I can't recommend you a place that hasn't worked for me, but I can tell you about some places where I've been to, where I'm siphing the mites out of the pup in the morning before I can make it, and and you see the owner for 10 minutes once a month, and otherwise you just see him in his latest Ford Focus RS, while the people that's in his care doesn't see him. So we've been to these places. I've been to places where they put you in cold showers and try and bring you right and all that kind of shit. But over here we're working with human beings, and I can never recommend a place to a person that and the place that she mentioned to send her son to, as at any given time it's got 100 people, which is very overcrowded. They advertise everywhere, and it didn't teach me much except for how to treat people in the wrong way. And obviously anybody can do the sums. If it's 3 or 4 grand a pop, and it's 100 people, and all the food is donated, then it's 400,000 rand a month. You know what I mean? And address the owner as pastor. So yeah, things like that is and the farm murders and everything else besides the drugs that is going on. I think that the drugs is the biggest overlooked issue in this country, actually. And Mr. Halls opened up another page and registered another NPC and things called All South African Lives Matter. All South African Lives Matter. We deal with people here from every culture, creed, breed, different backgrounds. We've dealt with CEOs, we've dealt with lawyers, we've dealt with people that's never been employed before, we've dealt with people that's been sitting on their mother's couch for 40 years, we've dealt with... And addiction is the biggest equalizer. And so... all lives matter, and we've seen some people come in at 40 that's never worked a day in their life, and then we've seen guys come in at 19 that have got a energy and work ethic and all of that, and we've seen people change here. That is the reward that is the best for me, that has got this position here. So we've worked with many different kinds of people. On my own journey, I've also seen different people in this game for different kinds of gains and things like that. And I've also met up with people that claim to be one person and is another person. So yeah, just like you guys have supported and watched and are watching and join us in the evenings, and it's lovely to have a group of people that listen. Like I said yesterday, lekker. It would really be lekker if could maybe, if the screen was a bit bigger, and we could converse or debate or ask questions, instead of it coming up like this on the screen. So, yeah, I've been called different things. I've been called a nursing challenge before. That was one evening at Stickland when there wasn't much supervision, and was detoxing there, and the detox meds weren't working because my drug usage was so high that my tolerance to the detox meds wasn't working. Also, just a reminder that on some of our viewers and watchers and members and friends on this group, for the newer guys and for our new friends and members, we run a weekly campaign called Orange Friday. It's to remove the stigma for drug addiction. You guys can check those pages out. Just search RAEL Orange Friday. We used to do a lot of activism and things like that where we go and we actually physically take our streets back and things like that. And we color code it as orange, like that EFF oak, Malema, traps around in the red and all of that. Us as people that activism and fighting against drugs and that kind of thing, and the pain that drugs has caused, to remove the stigma, we wear something orange on a Friday, and we also update our profile pictures and things like that. So I ask everybody to join in on this. It costs nothing at all. You can see on some of our friends' profile pictures that there's even just the orange ribbon there, and we try and share our experience, strength, and hope, and remove the stigma and the pain. Like I said last night, there's no successful drug story. There isn't a successful drug story or a happy ending to drugs. I haven't heard one yet. I've only heard a happy ending when recovery takes place. Oh, Richie, Auntie Maria, Rochelle, Lee J, my UK sister, Hilary Knight, Laura, Yasmin, another Beverly, Dominique Hall. How's Dominique? Teresa, Coolio. Yeah, so this evening, Michael that we've been working with for a long time. Michael said he could have done his meeting from Mavericks because it's his mom Michelle that is a very, very close member and friend to the RAEL family. It's Michael's mom, Michelle, that we always joke with about the Mavericks and all of that, and I booked Michael in on the Friday, and it was my off weekend that Friday, and that was about a year ago, Michael, close to a year ago.
11 months.
That was 11 months ago. I booked Michael in on the Friday that I was leaving to go down to my family for the weekend and all of that. How's it, Tara? Lekker to see you. Lekker. I see your name pop up consistently there. It's awesome, man. I booked Michael in on the Friday, and at that stage I was in room 7, and I liked being where the newcomers were, because I knew that when I was a newcomer I needed a little bit more attention than the guys that have worked themselves into the program and all of that. I booked Michael in on the Friday, got him comfortable in his room, helped him carry his bags there and all of that, and he was actually sharing a room with me at the time. I returned to work on the Wednesday, and we went through the whole admission process, and we conversed a little bit. And at that time, I can tell you now, I hope you don't mind me saying this, Michelle, but I've seen you get younger in 11 months, Michelle. I've seen Michelle come here with Michael, a tired woman, a hurt woman, a disappointed woman, a woman that didn't know which way to turn anymore. And it's working with parents like those and seeing that on a daily basis that reminds you what you did to your mom, what you did to your loved ones, what you did to the people that live in your close family circle. I don't live by mom and dad anymore. I've consistently been in and out there since the age of 17, 18, and that was always my safety net to fall back on until this time I came into recovery, and I swore and promised myself that even if I'm short a night's meal on an off day or whatever, which I've been blessed not to, I wasn't going to ask mom. I wasn't going to open that door again to start manipulating and asking mom. And I'll be honest with you, parents that I've seen come in through the doors in the sense of when we tell Michelle, don't give Michael tuck shop money, or don't enable Michael like this, or don't let him do that, or say no to this. What has worked is Michelle working with us. So what's the solution here to anti-aging and getting younger is listening to us. Because I promise you, Michelle looked tired when Michael got here. So Michael gets here the Friday, I book him in, I converse with him a little bit and all of that, ask him where he's from and just the usual things that we chat about and all of that. And I returned back to work on the Wednesday, and me and Michael's actually sharing a room. Myself and Michael sharing a room. And I returned back to work on the Wednesday, and I go to the room, and Michael says to me, "How's it? I'm Michael. I don't think we've met before." And I think, okay, that's strange, because are you sure? Because I booked you in on Friday, I helped you carry all your bags here, I set you up here in the room, and we had a bit of a conversation. So yeah, from there, I wouldn't say that we take a liking to specific people, because we like and treat everybody the same. But people that are really willing and try are the people that succeed. Keeping in mind that we will always make mistakes. I make mistakes. There were times in 2014 when I just arrived at RAEL, when I was a rehabilitation challenge. There were times, like I said, when I went to Stickland, and they called me a nursing challenge. It was about the fourth time that I went to go and ask for detox meds, because I was still shaking and getting hot and cold and backache and all of that. And I begged that lady, "Please, can't you give me something? I'm scared of myself. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and all I've got with me is my bedding, and I don't want to go and sell that on Balvo Station. Isn't there something you can jab me with?" So she jumped up and she said, "Now, my boy, you are being a rehabilitation challenge." And it's been a pleasure growing with Michael. through all his mistakes and ups and downs and things like that. I'm going to let Michael speak shortly. And yes, please. And the thing I really want you guys to check out this evening is our RAEL Orange Friday, and then and the new path that Mr. Hall has taken, where I'll share the link and things like that on my page and things like that afterwards. It's called All South African Lives Matter. It's registered. It's been started yesterday. I'm excited about it. That's why I'm telling you about it. I know Mr. Hall wanted to speak himself and wanted to say it himself, but I can't help myself because it's a very exciting time. So yes, 11 months ago, Michael came in here on the Friday. I booked him in on the Wednesday. He didn't know who I was, and here he is sitting today. Had his ups and downs like everybody else. He's done certain things, but Michael was taken at a very young age, and Michael comes out of a very good morals and values background, and just like very similar to my story, raised by the same person that raised his sibling, got the same things, got the same education, got the same treatment, and all of that. One did drugs, one didn't. And the sad part about it is that parents in this situation ask themselves, where did I go wrong? What could I have done differently? Well, with the way it is today, you couldn't have done anything differently. So I'm going to give it over to Michael. He's not going to glamorize. He's not going to name drop. He's not going to speak about any of his friends or anything like that. Michael's going to share a little bit about his story, and then one day we'll get Michelle to share a little bit about her angle on the story as a parent and the spider web on addiction. Amazing, Michelle. I can tell you now, if it weren't for you, that the way Michael succumbed to addiction, that doesn't discriminate, it will eat anybody up. If it weren't for you, I'm not sure where Michael would have been. So thank you for taking our suggestions and things like that, and thank you, Mr. Hall, for giving me the answers to give Michelle that has gotten Michael this far. And all South African lives matter. All of them. I want you to go and check that page out, and we'll put the links and all of that over there. And Mr. Hall will tell you a little bit more about it. I'm not allowed to say more. I just want to tell you that all South African lives matter. And I'll give it over to Michael now so that he can share a little bit about his story and his leaps and bounds and struggles and different things. Hopefully it can reach somebody that can relate to it, and it can also broaden the sort of picture that addiction doesn't play games. Addiction doesn't wait until you're 40 or 50. Addiction doesn't choose when and who and how. If it takes you, it can take you sometimes young and quickly, and sometimes it takes a bit longer. All right. Okay then, here's Michael.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Michael.
Hi, Michael.
So, I'm just here to tell you a bit about my story, about where my drug addiction started, and a bit about my life. So yeah, I've now been at RAEL for 11 months, broken. I'll get to that in a while about what actually happened there. But hi Kelly, I love you. Kelly's my sister. Yeah, I'll get to about what actually happened, now and why I left and all of that. But yeah, I'll start on it now. Okay, so I've seen addiction play out at a young age. My father was an addict, and he passed away because of addiction. So I yeah, I've experienced quite a bit about it in my life. Hello everyone. Yeah. So I initially started drugs because I felt, even in Clutchy, I felt that I just wasn't good enough to be really a part of a group of people and to be a part of people that liked me or accepted me for who I was. So I started off by my mom. I started off by at the age of 11. Actually, I'm sorry if search your mom or sis, Kyle, but I started huffing the urgent at the age of 11. Yeah, it was quite a weird thing actually. I was with a bunch of friends, and once I tried that, everything started not going downhill from there. But now looking back, I see a few things which are quite evident as to what actually happened. So I yeah, that carried on for about 2 years, and then I got to high school. So I went to high school at a very good high school. My mom always tried the best for me to put me into the best high school and to do all of that. But once again, when I got to that high school, I started feeling very left out and as if I wasn't part of the coolest or the most accepted group. So what I did was I tried as hard as I could to fit in. It still wasn't working. I then got to rugby season. I started playing quite well there, and I started becoming more and more friends with the people there, who I wanted to fit in with. And after a while, what happened was I ended up yeah, thank you, Bob. After a while, what happened was I ended up meeting one or two other people who I felt more comfortable with, who I thought accepted me more, and they were slightly older than me, and they were sort of the people that I thought were cool at that stage. So after that, I started experimenting a bit more. I started smoking a bit of weed. Around 14ish, started drinking a bit more. I noticed now that whenever I did either one of the two things, I would always go excessive over it. I would always drink too much, or I would almost like try be the center of attention by catching on the most trouble. And I don't know. I feel as if that was maybe my way of finding the attention that I wanted, looking for attention in the wrong things. Um, so yeah, that eventually progressed to a few other substances. I started trying out other substances, and it ended up yeah, it ended up in a situation where I ended up getting into a lot of trouble with my school. I ended up getting into quite a few situations where what's the word for it now? Where I was kind of stuck in a corner. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know what to say to the school. So I ended up leaving that school, and yeah, when I left that school, I went to another school, and what happened was all I wanted to do there was fit in with that group of people, and what was happening was I was trying so hard to fit in with them, but even though I knew I was accepted by them, that I had that sense of like wanting to feel accepted and wanting to feel belonged in some place in my life, in somewhere or or somehow just wanted to feel accepted. Um, So yeah, I carried on there, and then the substances started becoming a bit bad. It went on till about the age of 16, where I noticed my life was becoming really unmanageable. Yeah, I ended up getting into a situation with my mom when I was at a young age, and that subsequently ended up in me going to time. That experience for me was very eye-opening as to what the fact was that addiction is quite a big problem. And by this time, I'd sort of accepted that my life had become unmanageable, but I wasn't willing to change. I wasn't willing to take that step, or that next step into my life, which was living and finding a new way, which would progress me into a lifestyle which was good for me and which wasn't just destructive. So I was there for a few weeks, just under 3 weeks, I think. And the first thing I did when I got out of there was I went to that same group of people that I was with. And looking back now, is what they always say in NA is people, places, and things. I always went back to that same 2-3 people every time I left rehab. Every single time I'd still go back to the same 2 or 3 people, and that would leave me angry in the end. It would leave me feeling like angry at myself, because when I leave there, I know what the best thing for me is. I know the best thing is not to go see those. And yeah, the motivation was there from my mom's side. The motivation was there from my family's side to help me get better. But I just couldn't find the oomph for me to take that step ahead. So yeah, for the next few months or years, I was in and out of a few institutions. As I was saying, I'd always go back to the same group of people. I would always go to the same things that I knew which were bad for me. But because I carried on going there, it became like a routine for me. In somewhere for a bit, out somewhere for a bit, in somewhere for a bit, out somewhere for a bit, and it sort of became like a lifestyle for me of just wanting me to, you know, just what all I wanted for myself was to find that little bit of life left in myself, to find that little bit of passion for something which I just couldn't find. I couldn't find that passion or that love in something which wasn't drugs. No, 2018, sorry. I just left the place, and I was angry at myself. I was very upset at myself because of what I'd done and because of relapsing. And the way I held my mom hostage was one night I was at home and my mom knew I was using. My whole family knew I was using, I think, and what I did was, all I wanted was my mom's keys to a car. And I didn't have a driver's yet or anything like that. And what I did was I took a knife, and I can't really remember the night 100%, but I remember sitting there in my bed saying to my mom, if you don't give me the keys, I'm going to stab myself. Which is, I look back at it now as the insanity of my addiction. Like, how stupid was it for me to sit there with a knife and not just threaten to stab myself, but to actually slit my wrist, because I was telling her I can't live like this anymore. I just wanted my way, and my mom knew that my way was never going to get me anywhere. My mom knew my way was never going to I was never going to progress in my life anywhere if I carried on doing it my way, because my way got me to where I was there and then. You know, and that went on for a few months. Then after, it went on for probably about 8 or 9 months of me going through the same things almost every night, of me holding my mom hostage, of me hurting my entire family, really, of me setting my whole entire family's lives up for disappointment every single day, telling them repetitively that no, I'm gonna stop using, I'm gonna stop using, I'm gonna stop using, and I don't. I couldn't find a way to stop. And no matter how hard I tried by myself, it just couldn't happen. I couldn't find the motivation in me. No matter how often my mom and my family and my family friends, they really all wanted the best for me, but I was too stuck in my own ways. I still said, no, I'm young enough to be able to do this for a few more years and to change. And I wasn't. I carried on doing these same things, and all it led me to doing was just cuck situations. I carried on getting in trouble with my family, in trouble with schools, in trouble with quite a few things. And yeah, I mean, it led me into such a deep depression. A depression where I didn't want to drug anymore. I didn't want to be dependent on substances, or I didn't want to feel as if all I needed in my life was something like a substance to make me feel better. All I wanted was to live a happy life and to be able to. Thank you, Bob. And all I wanted was a happy life and was to be able to just to be able to have a drink now and to be able to have a drink then, but I knew it just wasn't possible. I was told time and time over again that it just wasn't possible for me to do that. This is probably the darkest days of my addiction then, where I started going through stages of complete demolishment. I would literally demolish everything in front. I got angry. I got ridiculously angry. I would break things. I've broken. I think I've broken more things in my house than, not even my house, in my mom's house. And sitting back now, I look at it and I think, why would I do that to the woman who just wanted the best for me? Why would I do that to the person that all they want is for me to be happy, for me to be sober, for me to be progressing in my life? And without my family and without my family friends and without the good people in my life, I wouldn't be the way I am today. I can think about it now and how many people always used to say, there's no hope for him, there's no hope for him, there's no hope for him. But the people who loved me, they always said there was hope. And I always had that bit inside them that knew I was going to get better. That they just love me enough to always give me that second chance, to always give me that just bit of extra love that I maybe needed at that time in life. So I carried on my drug spree for up until February last year sometime. And throughout the destruction and throughout all of that, I'd lost a lot of people that really cared about me. I'd lost a lot of good friends that had always wanted the best for me, and all I was concentrating on now was the people that didn't want anything to do with me, or the people that didn't want anything to help me, the people who didn't want to help me, the people who didn't want anything good for me. That's all I wanted, was to have them back. All I wanted was to have the people that had given up on me back, and I don't know why now. Maybe it's because I felt more accepted there, because they were doing the things which others frowned upon. They were doing the things that all at that time, no matter how bad I knew it was, I carried on doing it. I carried on doing those same things over and over again, expecting the bad people to have my side again. It's ridiculous, actually. Early last year sometime, things were getting bad for me. I tried to take my life on a few occasions. I tried to repetitively overdose. Look at that time in my life and now believe that God was with me. I believe that God was by my side, and I believe that God was giving me the strength to get through that one night when I overdosed. God, there was no way I should be alive, and the way God looked after me through the help of one or two other people who were there, and yeah, through one or two other people who helped me physically, but I know God always had His hand on top of me. I know God always had His care for me, and yeah, God stood with me and gave me the second chance at life that I maybe didn't deserve at the time, but I feel like I deserve now, looking back at it, because I can make a change in, if not my life, in someone else's life. So yeah, I went into the 5 months program somewhere, and you know, I believe myself so much that when I left that place, that I was never going to use again. I believed when the second I left that place that I was never going to ever touch drugs again, that I was never going to ever be close to the people that I knew, the people that hurt me and the people that wronged me. Even though I wronged them, I said to myself, I'll never be close to them, because that is my only way of being sober. And the first thing I did when I got home was, I said to Mom, listen, I'm going out now. I believe that time, if I listened to my mom and went through with what she was saying and took someone's advice, maybe someone who hasn't been through it before, but someone older, if I listen to them because they have the wisdom over me, I can now see that I mean, I knew it already, but all that my family wanted, my loved ones wanted, was the best for me. So I never listened to them, and that day I ended up falling, and it led to a very bad fall. For me, for the next few weeks, I was out again. I was at my mom's house, staying with her, and I caused so much trouble in those 3 weeks. My mom was, every night she wasn't sleeping. I don't even think she was eating some days, not because of certain reasons, but because she couldn't handle the fact that I was pushing her to a point of stress like that. She couldn't believe that her son, after having so many chances at getting his life back, after getting so many chances of trying to restore him back to the way he was before he started picking up drugs, just carried on going back to that stage. And one morning, maybe a few weeks later, I woke up and my mom said, listen, this is enough now. This is it. You are not going to any longer stay in this house unless you go seek help. Unless you can find a place to stay, or if you can find unless you can find a place to stay or find a house to stay in, or something like that, you must then leave. It's either rehab or the streets at the moment. And whether I could find a place to stay or not was the difference. So I said I'd go to a center, and I said I would try to change my life around. And I ended up at RAEL on the 29th of August last year. Through my time at RAEL in those times, I found what my true happiness was. I didn't necessarily find what my passion was until more recently, but I found out that sobriety for me was a lot more than just staying sober. It was a lifestyle. Here I've learned that the 12 steps isn't something you don't do a step a day. You do the 12 steps every single day. And if I don't do that every day, I'm gonna go back to the places where I came from. So I did a good few months here, and I ended up working in the kitchen here. I was really given amazing chances to grow as a person and to grow as a human being. And I turned it all around. I turned it all around and kind of threw it in my family and RAEL's face. One night that I had to leave. Clue why. I was going through hard times for about 2 months before that, and my fault was that I wasn't speaking. I wasn't finding someone to confide in, and I wasn't finding someone to open up to. So for 2 months, I was essentially with what people is a dry drunk, where all I was doing was what I had to, and not a breath more, because all I was doing was the bare minimum. I wasn't working any program. I was just waking up, doing what I had to do, and going to sleep. I wouldn't do one thing more than I had to then. And after 6.5 months, in the middle of the night, I left. Stupidly, and the first thing I went back to, believing that I was never going to touch drugs again, believing that I was going to leave here with the bag that I had, go home and go to my mom's house and be living there at this probably this day, still sober. That's what I believed. That's what I thought was going to happen. No matter the fact that I never had the balls to come and say to Mr. Hall that I wanted to leave. The fact was that I ran away in the middle of the night was already the wrong. That was already the fact that I was too scared to hear the truth. I was too scared to hear what was actually going to happen from someone who knew what was going to happen, because they have that experience. I didn't believe that anyone could tell me what was going to happen in my life, because I know myself the best, apparently. Meanwhile, it's exactly the opposite. I know myself the least out of everyone in here. I know what I look like, I know what I feel like, but I can't tell you what my next move is. The professionals can. The people who have been through it for longer time, the people who have stayed sober for longer time can. So the first thing I did when I left here was, I got down to Cape Town, and without a doubt, I went straight back to the old lifestyle. I never picked up on drugs first. I saw someone on the side of the road, and I offered them a bit of money, and I slept with them that night. Okay, well, not that night. I slept with them, yeah. And that also just kind of shows me that because I was doing that before I came here, and because I went straight back to that same lifestyle, I could see that, being told that the old habits are going to come back, the old what can I call it now, the old lifestyle is going to come back. So out of doubt, after doing that, I walked from Kenilworth to Wynberg and met someone there, and there I picked up. It led me on a 2-day massacre, shall I say, of ridiculous stupidity, catching on the most stupid cuck repetitively the whole time, going to a place, all I'm wanting to do is leave, but my self-esteem was so low, I literally got broken down within a matter of hours. My self-esteem was so low after that. Just as soon as I left RAEL, I just felt left RAEL on the terms I did, my self-esteem was broken. I wasn't in a nice area. All I wanted to do was leave the house that I was staying in, and I never had the balls to go say it to them. So I ended up staying there. I ended up feeling as if I was forced into staying there. Meanwhile, it was my choice. It was my choice the whole time. But it just shows me how quickly I can I can lose everything, and not materially. I lost everything in a matter of seconds. I lost everything in a matter of seconds. Yo, all it took was one wrong decision for me, and I literally felt as if I lost everything. Everything internally that I'd worked for. All the happiness, all of the love that I'd finally gained. Well, I mean, I always had it, but I mean, all the love that I was finally able to give out, because I can't love someone if I don't love myself. And in active addiction, I didn't love myself. The last thing I wanted to do was to have a conversation with someone about love, because all it meant to me was the sick part of it. It was the sex part of it, and that's the disgusting part of it. Yeah, so I phoned my mom 2 days later after I left here, and I told her, listen, Mom, I need to come home. I need to, obviously this is now me expecting the fact that my mom's going to let me home. Thank you, Gladwin. Expecting the fact that my mom's going to let me home, because that's what she used to do when I was using before I came to RAEL. But now that she's set up some clear boundaries when I was at RAEL, that if I ever had to relapse, I will not be allowed home again. So I said, okay, I will go back to RAEL. So I went back to RAEL. I detoxed, if I can call it that. I was there for 4 days before I demanded to leave, because I felt as if what happened to me in my relapse was what was meant to happen in my life. I thought that what happened to me was the best thing, because now it shows me how quickly I can lose everything. Meanwhile, before I'd even gained anything back internally, I thought I was going to lose everything. You know what I mean? I had nothing to lose anymore. I'd already lost everything internally. I'd already lost all the love that I could give. I'd already lost all the hope inside of me. I lost all the hope. I lost all of the I lost all the passion and the drive for life. So after 3 or 4 days, after 3 or 4 days, I came inside the house and I said, listen, I'm going to go home now, because I took my relapse as a thing that had to happen to me, and I feel as if I'm recovered now. So after a very short discussion, but how do I call it? Not an argument, a debate of whether I thought I was going to stay sober. I knew I was going to stay sober when I left here after only being sober for 4 days, if that. So I said, listen, you can't hold me here, and I left. I walked down the gravel road for the second time in a week. That was probably one of the biggest fuck-ups of probably my time at RAEL here. I had the chance to fix what I had broken again. I had the chance to start in a safe environment. I had the chance to be with the people that finally understood me. And not just understood me, that knew me, that they knew the way I was, and they knew the way I felt. They knew how I would react when I felt a certain way. So I let me up in Worcester, and I swindled some stories around saying how all of this, meanwhile, it was all of my own doing. I never got kicked off the farm. So she took me home, back to her house in Cape Town, and there I managed to stay sober for, I think, 1 day. I got there at about 6 in the evening, so I think 1 day. And by then already I was wanting everything back that I had before I came to RAEL. I was wanting the phone, I was wanting the car keys, I was wanting the all of that back. I was wanting the key to the house, but meanwhile I was probably going to lose it. And my mom knew my mom knew what was gonna happen to me. I think she was just too scared that I was gonna do something detriment to myself and the family that would hurt them forever. And that may be irreversible if I didn't get my way. So that was a big part of me realizing how badly I fucked up. So I went back, and this was, I think, 3 days before lockdown. So next day, I wake up, and the drugs are calling. And what is the first thing I did? Mommy, can I have some money to go get some chocolate at the shops? I did go to the shops, but not to buy chocolate. I went, and almost every time I relapse, except for the one where I ran away for 2 days, was with alcohol. And obviously everyone's stocking up now because of lockdown. They heard alcohol is going to be closed, off sale and all of that. So I go there and I think, okay, now it's fine. If I drink now, it will be fine because I won't be able to get alcohol during lockdown. I'll be forced to be staying sober if I drug. You know what I mean? Yes, Mom. I'm sorry I made you go grey, Mom. So I bought me. I think, okay, no, I'm not gonna buy a 6-pack. I'm just gonna buy 2 drinks. But that was a big mistake. So what I did was I went out, saw the same people as what I knew which was bad for me, saw the same people which I knew which was going to be a detriment to me, and I went to go see them, and even no matter what I knew what was going to happen, I still ended up going to see them. I still ended up doing the things which I said I wasn't going to do when I left here. And
what did I tell you before you ran away?
You told me I was going to relapse, sir. And I didn't listen to the professionals. And look where I am. So where was I now? So I think I was out there for 3 weeks again. So in those 3 weeks, I started doing things I never thought I was going to do. Basically I went back to that exact same lifestyle. The exact same lifestyle is what I did while there was no lockdown, while there was no nothing. I went back to this. I went back to driving along Weinberg and Kenilworth Main Road and at obscure hours of the night, doing stupid things, picking up people and doing things like that because it just wasn't worth it. Well, it was worth it at the time, but isn't worth it looking back. Okay. So I came back, and when I came back, I was expecting to go have the same privileges as what I had before when I left here, and what was I gonna say now? I thought I was gonna have the same privileges before, and I thought I was gonna get the same treatment as I was having 6.5 months, which was a big no. I came in here hoping I was going to go back into the position I was at the kitchen. I was hoping that I'd still be able to swindle a few things through, and none of that happened. I've now been here for 4 months. I've been trying my absolute hardest this time around because now I see that the difference was this time around is that I'm actually trying to be honest. I'm not just being honest with everyone else, I'm being honest with myself. I'm telling myself, like, listen here, Michael, you're not feeling lekker today. All you can do today is to go speak to someone about it. Even if they don't want to listen to me or they don't want to do anything, at least I'm speaking about it. This time I'm letting God into my life. I'm letting God not control my life, but I'm handing my life over to God. I've now come to accept that if something doesn't go, if something doesn't go my way, it's for the best of me. It's all in God's it's all in God's way. If I can't get the phone call here then, or this then, or this then, and I look at it and I'm just like, listen, it's part of my program. All I have to do is accept it. All I have to do is accept the fact that I can't get things when I want it anymore. This is now, this is now the hardest part. What was the hardest part for me was hoping that I would still get those same things, hoping I still get to sit with the people that I got to know here, and more importantly, what I realized this time around is as well, I lost respect last time around. I wasn't, not that I was disrespectful, that I lost my respect. I started disrespecting the people that had saved my life and the people that were there for me the whole time. I started thinking I was better than everyone else last time around, which this time I'm trying hard to humble myself every day. Every morning I wake up and every night I go to sleep, I always start and end with a prayer, just because I know God's first. If I don't put God first in my life, if I don't put God first in anything to do with my life, I'm never gonna accomplish anything. Since now being at RAEL, I've found a few things that really interest me a lot. I was never a handyman. I knew what a screwdriver was and I knew what a spanner was, and that's about it. Now, through working hard in my recovery, I've been blessed with the chances to be able to go out and work on projects and to be able to do things. So RAEL name behind us, and I've learned a lot of things here. I've learned how to put up walls, for example. I've learned how to do stuff like that, which I never thought in my wildest dreams I would do. Never mind like doing. I now love doing stuff like that. I now love the fact that I'm able to not just I now love the fact that I'm not able to just dig a hole to do that. Now I'm able to look at something at the end of a project and think, it's now an accomplishment. The way I look at it is, if it took me that long, say it took me 3 weeks to do this one thing, now I look at it as in those 3 weeks, where was I feeling recovery-wise back then? Everything I do is helping me. Every day, at the end of the day, I write a step 10, which is the most important step for me. All of the steps are important, but before I left here, I stopped doing a step 10. I stopped doing the daily inventory, and with me stopping doing that, I stopped being able to look where I was going wrong. I started thinking that I was recovering, and stopped thinking that I needed help. I carried on looking around at other people as if they were always wrong. So now with me doing a step 10 every night, I can realize I can go through my day. I can realize, okay, I was bad to this person today. So now today, at the end of the night, if I realize that I was bad to this person and I haven't made amends to them, I haven't apologized to them, I need to do it, because if I don't, I'm not doing it for them half the time. I'm doing it for me. If I don't do it for me, how can I expect me to go on with my life? How can I expect me to do well, and me to progress in my life, and to progress in the ways that I want? I found many passions since I've been here the second time. well, one thing is I love cooking, which I learned from the first time. I love it, like a lot. But this time around, I found passions which I wanna take up as my lifestyle. I wanna do things which aren't just beneficial for me. I wanna do things which are beneficial for everyone. I wanna make a change in not my life, but everyone's life. I wanna help the people who helped me. I wanna help the people who weren't able to help me, because no matter if oh, if I'm helping the people that couldn't help me, I'm doing a step 12. If I'm helping the person that just walked in this door today, and I'm helping, they're just saying to them, listen, kappa, and just stay this one more day, just stay the next hour, wait it out a bit, maybe things will change, maybe you'll start feeling better in the next 10 minutes. I'm doing all I can. The last thing I want to see is myself in the situation I was again, or the look on my mom's face when she sees me like that, in that state of mind, in that state of being. You know, I put my family through so much stuff, and the fact that they are still standing by my side today, the fact that they are still there for me in this, they've still always been there for me no matter what. Yeah. So I just want to thank everyone for watching me share, and I love you, family. I love all my loved ones. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, so that's Michael's story, not completely in depth, but I'm sure that that parents and people can relate to the pain that he's been through, that he's put people through, and what he's gone through, and you know, like I said earlier, that thank you, Michael, for sharing as deeply as what you did. You know, we live and work a program where we point out each other's wrongs, we can admit our own wrongs, and basically to restore ourselves, that after we've been through all these different things, that we can look the world in the eye, that we realize that all human beings make mistakes and things like that. But Michael's got first-hand experience of what happens when you don't listen, and sometimes it happens for a reason, where it's never a case of I told you so. It's more a case of hopefully that this time he'll listen, because it helps him to realize that we were right. And so Michael's been here just about 11 months. He's had his ups and downs and things like that, and has never disrespected the house and the management and the family at RAEL. At the moment now, in my opinion, if Michael keeps going the way he's going, but he has to keep going and doing the things that he's doing, his life will turn out beautiful. That is my opinion, and he's had much support in all the right ways, and that's why we say that it's a family illness. Person asked me a question the other day on inbox. Yeah, how can you say it's a family illness? Are you saying it's somebody that it's hereditary, or it's genetic or whatever? That's not what I mean when I say it's a family illness. When I say it's a family illness, I mean that if I'm the one doing drugs, I affect my girlfriend, I affect my kids, I affect my loved ones, and many people close to them sometimes as well, because of the pressure and stress and disappointment and hurt that we project onto the people closest to us. it makes them miserable and hurt and damaged people. And then in turn, it affects other people that is close to them. And in the broader spectrum, it just makes the world in general a terrible place. So we've seen people come in here from all paths and walks of life. I don't know if Michael shared with you at a stage as well that that he's also been he's had very near death experiences, and we've built a lovely relationship with Michael and his family over the last 11 months, where we've invited them into a place of confidentiality, of a place where you can be vulnerable, where you can be open, where we don't judge, because we've also done wrong and made mistakes, and grown together. So so working with people isn't just like working with something that you pack on shelves, or something that you distribute in a truck, or something that you cook and sell. Working with people, you take a liking to them, you get to know people and their different personalities and things like that. And a lot of the times the guys that come in through the doors and when they leave and things like that, and move on to their sober lives, etc., they say that in this time they didn't only learn about themselves, but they learned about human beings and people in general as well. So thank you all for watching. Again, I know Mr. Horse keeping everybody a little bit in suspense, but I can't keep my mouth to myself, and I know that he'd like to share it himself about all South African Lives Matter and what that's about and all of that. I'd love to tell you all, but I know Mr. Hall wants to tell everybody more about it himself. So stay up to date and wait for that. And thank you once again. You know, it also obviously boosts a young man to see that there's so many faces and names and people interested in him. Because when Michael got here, he didn't think that anybody cared anymore about him, and he didn't care about himself either. So I've had the privilege once again of seeing what RAEL and Mr. Hall and this place does for people, and I've seen a person go from cracked to restored. Oh, there's a bit of a personal joke as well where that's concerned, because whenever Michael does something funny or something that doesn't really add up or make sense, then I look at him in the crowd and then I tell the other guys, check, like don't smoke crack. Just like look at Michael and you can see what it does. So Michael's been cracked and restored. And to stay on the path of restoration, Michael is going to keep doing what he needs to do, and all of that. It's been a wonderful journey here with him. I've spent a lot of my personal time I've spent with Michael. We obviously rotate the people on the different workstations and projects that they keep themselves busy with during the day. That helps them to build their self-esteem back up. That helps them to motivate. There isn't a more energetic person when it comes to work at the moment on the farm than Michael. But just like he lacks in some areas, there's people that lack in other areas. And that's how he motivates the next person. Is he tells them how lazy he was when he got here. And then they see him, how he works in that now. And then they also think to themselves, yo, I can also do and be energetic and be capable of the next man. So we're never too young in recovery to carry the message. So thank you, Michael, for your share. I know Michelle can be a proud mom this evening, and just a reminder that as you guys go onto your profiles now this evening, check out RAEL Orange Friday, and you can have a look just for the day of Friday. You can leave it permanent if you want. If you can just put an orange ribbon there to create awareness about the pain and and the stigma attached to addiction that not only the addict suffers. Thank you. That's from RAEL Live Recovery Stories. I got it first-hand live with Michael, completely live and direct in front of my eyes. And now, because we trying to remove the stigma and we don't do the anonymous thing anymore, all you guys, our friends and RAEL family, are getting the privilege of seeing that there is hope for any addict or any person out there, no matter how far down the scale you've gone. That's from RAEL, and our slogan is saving lives, uniting families, and I've had the privilege to see that with my own eyes in many cases, like Michael's. So thank you very much. Lee J will, thanks Lee J. Lee J will share the link for the Orange Friday pages. She will also can also guide you into if you search All South African Lives Matter, that is where everybody can follow Mr. Hall into his new venture and the plans and things that he has. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting and motivating of the plans that Mr. Hall has in going forward with progressing with that. So, yes, Tara, hashtag Orange Friday. Beautiful. Good night, all. Nice, Michelle. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. There's nothing more of a pleasure than seeing a mother come in here broken, a family come in here broken, a mom now that used to message and say that she can put her head on the pillow at night. And that's what we're about here at RAEL. That is what we're about. It's beautiful to have seen a family restored. So good night, everybody. I'll keep you in suspense for when Mr. Hall is going to tell you about a little bit more in detail about All South African Lives Matter. But I'm sure if Mr. Hall could save every life, that is how far and wide he would try and spread himself to save every life. So thank you to Mr. Hall for what you've done in Michael and Michelle's lives as well, and the rest of the RAEL team. Alright, that's Michael, cracked and restored. Don't forget, hashtag RAEL Orange Friday. Love you all. Thank you for watching.